season of The Guardian, and I guess they're going to have a lot of huge updates, so let's check it out. I am kind of excited.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Season 5 Dev Update. I'm here with the whole crew. I have Scott, who always waves out of turn, so we'll do him first. We have Dave V, Tony, Dan, Chad, and Zach, and we have a lot to share. We were supposed to have a few more people, but thanks to
This guy in the center, he's like our main PvP dev for everything. And from what I understand, he's actually moving on to a new project. And so, because of that, I think it's this dude in the background. I could be wrong with this bald dude back here. I believe he is stepping into his role for like the PvP updates and stuff.
the apocalyptic California rainstorm, to give you a hint on when we're filming this. They will not be able to make it. Also, our printers don't work,
California
so some people
rainstorm.
may be looking at their phones.
As a native Californian, that's like a drizzle.
But before we get in with all of the goodies, I did want to share some news. I know we had promised a roadmap in May, and unfortunately, we are not going to be able to share that until June. We take our commitment.
Bro, what? Okay, first off, this is crazy. People were upset that you weren't going to share any sort of roadmap until May. Okay? And your reason for not showing a roadmap until May was because you wanted to make sure that when you announce things, they would be announced on time. Okay? But now, not even your roadmap itself is going to be on time. And you scheduled it like 6 months out. How does that happen?
It's serious, but we've got some new information on our side that's just going to mean we can't share it. We are still super excited about it, and hopefully you can all be patient and understand it's just going to be a couple
That
weeks
is
behind where we
crazy. How do you be late on a 6 month ahead announcement of new stuff that you're going to put out? Like, you're not even putting out the stuff, you're just announcing what's gonna be put out. That is crazy.
on sharing it. Outside of that, we have some really good news. By the time you see this video, the Advanced Group Finder should have launched, which we're all really excited about.
I haven't tried that out yet. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good.
Tomorrow morning, but as someone who plays on a lower pop server, Isabella, I think it's going to be game changing. All right, well, let's start talking about all the great stuff coming in Season 5. We're going to start with Zach, who's going to take us through the Winter Runeforge trial.
Yeah, so basing off where we have with the hatchery, it's going to be a 10-person trial with some fodder and some boss encounters. We've got a nice ancient subterranean architecture with the icy coat on it, and you're going to be running through there,
Iceforge, Ice Dragon,
doing some cool stuff, puzzles, and you'll have some cool rewards, dark matter, new artifact.
Did I do this already?
For bonus
looks
rewards.
familiar.
You can play it as many times as you want a week, though.
Maybe there's just something similar.
Well, you mentioned bosses. Be cool if you could talk a little more about those.
I'll take that, sure. In this 10-person raid, players will be revisiting the Ophidian Construct as well as the Ice Guardian.
Yeah, that guy. I fought that guy.
Played these in their solo trial incarnation. But they were actually designed and developed as 10-person raid bosses. So players will...
Wait. Okay, so yeah, I knew I fought this thing. It was from a winter event earlier, as he said, a solo trial. Apparently it was intended to be a 10-man raid, but they released it earlier as like a solo thing. So like the thing I already beat by myself, is now just going to be harder, but I have to fight it with 10 people?
now be seeing them in their full glory, their full power.
I mean,
difficulty-wise,
that's kind of underwhelming.
We want to be a little bit more pug-friendly.
I feel like it should be the opposite, right? Like you should release the 10-man version first, like really difficult version, and then like afterwards you can release like a solo maybe I'm crazy, I don't know.
So it won't be quite as hard as like a sandworm, but definitely still on the challenging side. The Ophidian Construct, definitely a challenge of positioning, making sure to pull apart those constructs as they're splitting and fracturing. And then the Ice Guardian, more challenges with the...
I didn't realize I had to grab a torch while fighting this thing in order to keep myself warm, and I kept on dying to my health going down. And then once I realized the mechanic, it was really easy. But like, I got so mad because I didn't know what I was supposed to do at first.
The rune puzzle, as well as positioning with the torches, is going to be really, really important on that fight. should put a pretty good challenge in front of the players.
Pretty cool. It's fun stuff. And I heard someone mention artifacts. Tony, you want to tell us a little bit about the new artifacts coming this season?
Yeah, so for season 5, we've got a handful of new artifacts coming out. We've got some weapons,
Why is his
armor,
face
and
all
trinkets. I won't go into the details of all the different perks and whatnot.
It's like a fire axe. Let's see here. Magnify, of course. Corruption debuffs last 25% longer. Works on both weapons. All debuffs. So does that include like bleeds? Are bleeds considered to be debuffs? Will this just be like a better version of things that make you like bleed better? And then Defile, deal 2% more damage per debuff on target. Keenly Jagged's always good, and refreshing move. Okay.
Just leave that for discovery.
Tempest Fury. There's a great axe. Successful attacks gain 3% movement speed for 3 seconds. Works with both weapons. Well, that could be interesting. If you put on like a fast weapon, like a rapier or a sword, like all of your attacks make you move faster. I could see myself using that. Ooh, an endless spin. Whirlwind spins an extra 10 times. Okay, I might go sword, shield, axe, so I can do like the whirlwind spin on top of like everything making me faster, and then keen speed as well. This is just like the move fast axe, and then fortifying whirlwind. Whirlwind hits, grants fortify, increasing. Dude, this axe is amazing. I absolutely want this axe. That's crazy.
But personally, for me, a couple I'm excited about. We've got the
Gil's Gravity Gauntlets. Charged. Whenever you take damage, gain Empower Charge that increases the damage of your next attack. Maybe. Plus 5%. Oh, that's just the gem in it. Health increase, Enchanted Ward, Defile, deals 2% more damage to debuffs on target. Ooh, I like that there's a damage buff on it. So I kind of like the Defile. I need to get Defile on like all of my armor pieces. Is that new? I actually don't know if that's a new status or not. I'm not familiar with it.
The Gravity Gauntlets, which is going to give you a stacking buff on your heavy attack. So every light attack, you get 3% additional damage.
I was going to say, is this like a changed artifact? I was thinking of the Magnetic Gauntlets. That seems similar to Gravity Gauntlets.
Up to 10 stacks for your next heavy. So if you can like pair that with some crits, you can do some really good damage. And then the other one is the Phoenix, which is a trinket. And that one is every 180 seconds. If you hit 0 health and you're supposed to die, you'll gain 2 seconds of invulnerability.
I wonder how that stacks with the Hatchet perk. The Hatchet perk, when you would go down to 0, you go back up to like half health. And this one is when you would go down to 0. Instead, you become invulnerable for 2 seconds. I wonder, will you become invulnerable for 2 seconds, and your health goes up to half if you're using the hatchet, or will the hatchet not proc because this prevents you from going down to 0 health? Like, I wonder how it's gonna stack with the hatchet's natural like deadened nerves equivalent ability.
So anybody who may have played a while ago and used to enjoy that from Berserk on the Hatchet, it's there in an artifact form. So I'm really excited about those two.
And I like there's a pair of boots coming out that sort of encourage like the ambush kind of gameplay combat mechanic where you get a bonus.
Deal 15% more damage and 25% critical chance as long as you haven't hit the target within 20 seconds. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's like a gank boots. Michael liked those. Let's see. Then Freedom, Defile. Yeah, so they're gank boots. Interesting.
Bonus damage for a short period of time after you go into combat, right? Mm-hmm. So, like your openers become way more impactful.
Initiative roll, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing I wanted to add is, we're starting to add a lot of artifacts, and I know we've had a couple players complain or sort of mention, hey, it's sort of
one or two.
It's sort of limiting to only be able to sort of track and upgrade 5 at a time. Well, we have some good news. In Season 5, we are increasing...
Wait. What was that spear? Heavy attacks with either weapon cause poison damage, dealing 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Oh... So maybe I could stack that where I both poison and bleed people. If I have bleed on like my other weapon, then I can both poison and bleed with my attacks. That could be nifty.
Track and upgrade 5 at a time. Well, we have some good news. In Season 5, we are increasing that to 10, so that will help players a lot.
That's awesome.
One last thing on the subject of artifacts. The the improved group finder that's coming out. This is kind of a late update, but the lost stopwatch, which gives a taunt ability, will work in the role select for signing up as a tank. That's late breaking update, but we were able to get that in.
That's awesome.
Thanks for the critical news update.
Yeah, everybody can relax. It's okay now.
We're good. No, it is actually nice. So one of the things we've been asked for a lot over the last year, I'm pretty excited. Well, I'm pretty excited to let Dave talk about is the thing that used to be sitting up there in one of our videos. You want to run with this?
Yeah, I think you're talking about controller.
I am talking about controller.
So season 5 finally brings the long-awaited first step of controller.
I am so excited for this. Please don't fuck it up. Please don't fuck this up because I am so excited for this.
For support in New World. So as I mentioned, this is step 1. We are mostly focused on core gameplay in this one. So really just making sure all the sort of running around, navigating, combat, all that feels really good. We've added a couple cool things with that focus on core combat navigation, and number 1 is some aim assist, which will be active during PvE, a target lock that you can use, and also some refinements to the way navigation works on the controller. So that has been really our focus for this release. We also have implemented, a virtual cursor that allow you to navigate around the various menus. You'll see a couple of the menus we've added sort of hints and shortcuts to already. More of those will be coming along over the subsequent seasons. We'll be trying to update all the screens so that there's sort of quick ways to do some of the actions. The last thing I think some people may miss in season 5 is there is no remapping. There's a couple default options you can choose from, but no remapping in season 5. Obviously, we are aware of that. We are going to bring it to you later. It just wasn't ready for season 5.
I encourage people to play with the controller. It's game changing. I mean, it feels so different and it feels really good, especially if you're more of a controller type of player. Yeah. I'm excited for it. All right. Well, another thing we've been
Molly, knock it off.
That we have that we've been promising for a long time is the finalization of the 1 through 60 MSQ update. So MSQ 2.3, which finishes the story. You want to give some high levels on that?
Yeah, just high level, because there's going to be a full Forge and Eternum that details all of this. So I don't want to spoil it. But like Scott said, this is sort of the culmination.
I'm going to replay from the beginning so I can get the full story.
All the way through. And this one, we focused on Ebon Scale Reach and Shattered Mountain, sort of bringing the rest of the story in. It brings with it 2 new soul trials, which are going to be super fun. It brings in a host of new IGCs, a couple of the new sort of painterly cinematics. So it's great. And I think most importantly of all, for the solo players out there, you will now be able to do the whole story of the Isabella arc all the way without having to do an expedition. You can do it all solo.
Oh, so interesting.
Pretty exciting stuff.
I think the Isabella fight is a blast. I think Chad and his team have done a great job making that. It's really come together. It's a cool final stamp on that story. From hardcore story to cooking. But we have made some changes to cooking, so why don't you take us through those, Tony?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a lot of changes to cooking coming up here in the future. I'm not going to go into too many details because we're going to have a Forge and Eternum coming out shortly after this video, as well as some more fun cooking shenanigans in the future after that. But the high level of it is we wanted to take a look at the trade skill. Now that we have a better understanding of what players are chasing, what players are making, what players are cooking, there was a lot of stuff in the cooking trade skill, and we really wanted to pare that back.
I feel like this is about to be like a rant that nobody's going to care about, but maybe I'm wrong, I'm holding out.
I can really focus on what players were using. So we cut back significantly on the recipes. We did tuning on experience curves as well, making it easier and more fluid to level, and just a whole lot of changes. It really slims down the crafting menus, which helps with performance. Just all in all, I think the changes make it feel a lot more focused, I guess, if you will. And so really looking forward to some of the changes we have for cooking and other things as we simplify those as well.
Yeah, I think the exciting thing is to see the response to this, and then if we like it, start looking at other trade skills and repeating the pattern.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. The feedback that we get from this.
I must have zoned out. What did he even say they did? It was so dull that I just completely glazed over for a second there. I have no idea what he said. I apologize. I'm going to scroll back really quick.
Focused, I guess, if you will. And so really looking forward to some of the changes we have for cooking and other things as we simplify those as well.
Yeah, I think
They
the exciting
simplified
thing is
it?
to see the response to this, and then if we like it, start looking at other trade
Okay,
skills
they
and
made
things
cooking
like that.
more simple.
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's a really
guess.
good point.
What-
You know, the feedback that we get
Yay,
from
it's
this
simple
is
now.
going to influence and
I
then,
guess.
motivate how we approach other trade skills as we do these in the future.
And so what can players expect in terms of like the things that they've already cooked or like their existing items? Like how?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so let's say, so I'll talk to split stat foods, right? And so maybe you have focus strength food for whatever reason. And when this patch comes out, what we're gonna be doing is whatever the main stat is for the split stat foods, you're gonna be getting the same tier as that as a primary stat. So if you had focus strength at tier 4, you're just gonna have.
Oh, okay. So they're getting rid of split stat foods. So foods that give you like 15 of one stat and 15 of the other. Now they're just going to give you 30 of one stat. They're getting rid of foods that give you half one stat, half another. I'm of two minds on this change. On the one hand, it's like, okay, you're removing some options that we had. Why? But on the other hand, I never used the split stat foods ever. So, I mean, okay.
A tier 4 focus food. And that'll go all the way through. And it does it for crafting foods, gathering foods, because again, a lot of the simplifications, there's just one tier for crafting and gathering now as well. We lowered the level requirement to use those. And again, it just should feel like a much more polished experience.
That's
Hopefully.
awesome. We have a change coming to OPR, Dan, that you want to talk about?
Yeah, some of us glimpsed this in a PTR, a few PTRs back, but we're very excited that we've done we've got this ready to go out, and mounts are now allowed in OPR starting in season 5.
This is going to be a big change. Mounts being allowed in OPR. It's going to be crazy. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. As I recall, they didn't go out originally when mounts came out in PTR because of problems they had. So I don't know what those problems were, what balance issues they had, and how they fixed them. So maybe they're going to show an update here.
That is going to be awesome. I cannot wait
Feels
to see 20 people riding their mounts across. It's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be cool.
it feels like a whole new mode. It's really good.
That's great. So a while ago, I think it was quite a while ago, we talked about that we were looking at overhauling our combat system. And I think we're pretty much getting pretty close to rolling that out. Dave, do you want to share some deets?
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm
basically
curious. What are
we're
they doing?
redoing the sort of core scripting system which drives all the animation and combat logic in our game. This is a huge initiative, obviously. It's all combat, all navigation, and it's all being redone in this new system. The new system, there's actually going to be a blog by Kevin, who's the architect who did all this, that sort of dives
Combat
deep
looks
into how
really
it works
smooth
to
here, like
understand it all.
absurdly
But
smooth.
the key
I'm not
thing to
sure
understand
why.
is that it is now going to be basically natively compiled C++ code. So that makes it way
Okay.
faster, which is
Yeah,
going
that
to be
makes
great,
sense.
especially in sort of like very complex scenes like in war or in chess runs, wherever there's a lot of
Yeah, it's going to speed
density,
things up.
this will really help out. But yeah, it is a major
It looks really
overhaul.
smooth.
All of our actions, all of our abilities, everything has changed. So, there is a chance that some things may be slightly different, hopefully for the better. But please let us know if you notice anything playing that you think is less good than it was previously. Let us know.
This honestly sounds like a
But yeah,
really good
the
change.
goals here are, one, really help improvement in performance. And second, this is actually a much more debuggable system because it's natively compiled. We can set in breakpoints, we can check variables,
Yeah,
all
that
sorts
makes
of things
sense.
that makes it easier to debug. So this, the engineers in the group are happy. But what that
I feel
means
his
for you
pain.
all, the players, is that it will be easier to fix bugs, and especially the desyncs, which were really hard to fix on our old system, will be much easier to fix. So look forward to improved performance and then improved stability and bug fixing in the future. But there might be a little hump as we first introduced this in season 5, where we're sort of ironing out all the kinks.
And let me just manage expectations. Like, we got the base system in, so your performance may not have a drastic improvement immediately.
Yes.
It's going to enable us to understand and improve it over time in a much more dramatic way. So day one, you may not get a huge performance gain, but it's going to give us data and the ability to go back and make performance better. And by the way, it will get better, but there's going to be more leaps coming because of this framework.
And there should be a noticeable decrease in like the memory footprint.
Yeah,
as well.
especially on the server, right?
Ooh, that's
Server
a
and client.
big win. That's a big win because New World is a memory hog. That's gonna be huge. Big win. Big win.
It's a big deal, and you know, we like Dave said, this would be a great one to give us feedback on. As you know, remember, different doesn't mean bad, but figure out, like, help us understand what's bad, not just different. All right, well, we're going to go back to Tony, who's going to tell us about some of the upcoming events in Season 5.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of your old favorites returning. We're going to have Rabbit's Revenge coming back, where you'll be able to go ahead and kill your furry friends in order to get that coveted chest that everybody always goes after. And then we also have Springtide Bloom coming around again with some revamped rewards. So we're excited to see players dive into those and earn some cool stuff.
All right, and we're going to finish on a positive, hopefully. Dave V has a surprise to share about a new quality of life feature that he's really built up, so I hope it lives up to it.
I think it will, beyond just the artifact change, which you mentioned earlier, which is great, QL. Another piece of feedback we've gotten a lot is Magnify. Hey, this thing can be hard to manage in all my builds. I wish I had a little more control.
Okay, I hope this is good.
And you know,
Please
we've
be
got
good.
lots of different suggestions how to do it. In Season 5, we're going to be introducing a new QL change where you can choose the attribute that all your Magnify applies to. So,
Yes!
we like this
Yes!
because you can't like individually apply them all, which some people had suggested. We thought that was a little bit too strong, but here you
Okay,
can
that's
choose
fair.
one
That's
attribute
fair.
for all your Magnify
I'm cool with that.
and it should give you a little more flexibility in terms of builds,
Yes,
especially if you use
that's
Magnify.
amazing. Okay, you have if you guys don't play New World, you have no idea
All right, well,
how
that's
great
all
of
we
a
have
change
today.
this is.
Thanks
This is
for
going to be
watching.
fantastic.
If you like what you saw and you want us to keep doing these, like us, follow us, subscribe, and all of that. Otherwise, thank you so much, and we will see you in Eternum. Hey, I thought the big surprise was going to be that we're lowering the cost of respec. What happened?
One more QOL update that's super important. We've gotten lots of feedback on respecking, especially in our classless system. Hey, it costs too much. Well, guess what? The cost is being shattered. We got a huge sale in Season 5. Respec is now 50 coin.
50 coin?
Woohoo!
It's like a pack of gum. Come on.
That is great.
Anyway, thanks.
I'm
See ya.
sick of paying the
Bye.
respect. That's fantastic. Okay, ending updates were pretty good. That made me pretty happy.